welcome to Shovelware Diggers. Our dig team is currently excavating the Softkey Shareware 2000 Hit Games 2CD collection. You can find a link in the video description listing the entire directory structure of this archive. Here's what our diggers have for week 260. For more information on how to join the dig team, simply follow the Patreon link in the video description. Now, without further ado, let's get to it. First up, CatDog Joe has dug up DOSGAMES /arcade2/hemp_x10. Well, this could go a number of ways. Got a file id.diz, hemp.exe, a bunch of vol files, and a readme.exe. Okay, it's not often that the readme is stuffed away in an executable. What does the file id.diz say? Cops and Crops version 1.0. Oh, well, I kind of have an idea where this is going. Defend your crops from an onslaught of police attacks in this fast-action arcade/mind game. I don't think you can call something like this a mind game, but we'll see. We'll see. Maybe there is some, logic and some strategy. Original concept was an underground theme, 256 color VGA, a 286 at 10 megahertz. Okay. Apparently made by a Russ Merritt in 1993. Okay, let's go back here a little to when this game came out. It says here 93. A 286 with 10 megahertz would be a pretty old computer by that point. So either this guy was stuck on old hardware, or he was trying very hard to make his game work on just about anything. But anyways, let's run that readme. Okay, so it's like its own special manual system or something here. Oh geez, we actually have a story to this game. Our hero Jimmy was returning from a show one day to find his crop field being raided by missiles and police choppers. Missiles? Okay, I don't really know much about drugs, but could somebody actually fill me in on if police officers will fire missiles to destroy illegal crops? Somehow I don't think that's a thing. Luckily, Jimmy had installed the ANG anti-narc gun the week before the deal with just such an incident. Now it is up to you to help Jimmy control the ANG to defend his crops from the cops. Won't be easy, so be sure you read the gun's instruction manual. Okay. Control the ANG with either your joystick or keyboard. Found the joystick easier to use in this fast game, but the other works fine. So arrow keys to move, left shift for activate targeting, and spacebar to fire. Interesting. Oh, and I should point out that there is a registration fee for this game, and it's a mere $5. So, let's see if we've actually got a decent game here. Hemp. Okay, I was about to say there was a bit of a delay there, so... Oh, that's... The cursor... I just have to tap up or down, and the cursor races to the top or bottom. So I'm going to take it that the cycle count is way too freaking high. I wasn't kidding about using a 286. Oh geez. Even with the lower cycle setting, it still goes pretty fast. And if we bring up the story in-game, we get italicized text, and we actually get a picture of our hero Jimmy here. Yeah, that's about it. That's all there is to it. So, play the game. Stage 1. Okay. So it's kind of like Missile Command. Yeah, it's basically like Missile Command. And wow, the frame rate dives when there's the animation of the fire down there. That's a very weird fire texture there. It almost looks like he tried to digitize a fire effect. Okay, well, stage cleared. We get 4 profits. So we only get 4 points. Okay. Oh look, that actually grows between stages. Somehow that doesn't surprise me. Game. Okay, I just crashed the game. At least I'm pretty sure it's oh yeah, nothing's working. Okay then, I think I'm gonna try restarting and see if we can get further. Okay, I've also tried turning the cycles down even more, just in case maybe it was still too high or something. Cause like some kind of infinite loop. Anyways. So, yeah, the game's playing a bit too slow now, but I think it was a little too fast before. It's actually really hard to line things up well, because the keyboard controls don't move that fast. Oh. Okay, so it looks like if one of the police officers actually lands, you lose the game. So you have to, even though you're trying to stop those missiles, you absolutely have to destroy the police officer if it shows up in the air there. Like, this is a weird game when you think about it. You have... It's like you're defending like a grow-op from police-fired missiles. That's just... I'm pretty sure this is not how it would work in real life, but then it's a game. You give it some creative liberties. And I'm noticing too that these missiles only come down at 45-degree angles, at least for now. That's part of the problem, is that the cursor moves so slow that it's hard to really catch up to these things. I guess maybe part of the trick is just knowing how to position yourself for maximum effect, so that you can cover the most area with the least amount of movement with the cursor, but I don't know. And yep, the crops are still growing into the third stage here. I have to wonder how big they're actually going to get. Okay, well I managed to make it to stage 4. And I've noticed the profits are multiplying with each stage. So it's kind of like as the plants get taller, they're worth more points. Now the frame rates really dive down because I've got the cycles lower now, and once again the game crashed. Yeah, this game's got some stability issues from the looks of it. So that was Cops and Crops. It's basically a poor man's version of Missile Command. The controls are okay, but they don't really move fast enough to really play the game effectively. The gameplay itself is very basic when it comes down to it, but yeah, I guess for a $5 game, it's, yeah, it's probably not worth $5. Next up, the great Codeholio has dug up DOSGAMES /arcade/ANTICX? ANTICX? Something like that. So I think I've heard of this one, but never actually played it. We got EGA, VGA, BGI there. So we know it's been made with Borland stuff. Huh. There's like a readme.lst? Is that supposed to be like first, but they put an L instead of a 1? But then why would the packing be packing.first? That wouldn't make any sense. That's kind of weird. There's an AC help.txt and an antic.doc as well. Then a register.for. Whoever made this really likes just having all kinds of different extensions to their files. And there's also ver notes, which just doesn't have any extension at all. Well, same with the describe there. Well, let's edit the readme.lst. Okay, so apparently this was made by a Cascally software. It's got a list of other games that this person made. Okay. I remember that one. So apparently this was made by the same person who made that game with the planters going around with the weird the sort of 3D graphics with the almost like the stone walls and everything. That was a weird one. I don't really recognize the rest of the stuff in there. So let's see, what other files did we have here? So it looks like it may actually be called ANTIC as opposed to ANTIC. It says it's a cross between Othello and Life. The object is make the pattern a single color. Okay, the object says make the pattern a single color using the fewest number of transformations. These anti-chaos networks consist of squares connected to each other by directional lines. Each square is one of 3 colors and sends its color to neighboring squares in the network. Only one color comes into a square, it takes that color, 2 colors come in, they cancel, and the square assumes the 3rd color. And each time you change a square, all squares in the pattern are recalculated and redrawn. This sounds incredibly complicated. Oh wow, you don't see this every day. So apparently when you register this particular game with Cascally software, you not only get the program and bonus levels according to this, but you also get another program of equal or lesser value, a free CompuServe account with $15 of usage credit, and 90 days of online support through CompuServe or also through mail. That's like this is the more interesting one, because this would actually cost the person money to give this away. So that's kind of interesting. Although I haven't seen what the cost of this registration is yet. There was a registration.form file. So yeah, I'm looking at the registration form now, and ANTICX here is only $20. So that must have been one heck of a deal CompuServe was giving him to be able to give away that kind of a bonus for registering. That, or he figured taking a $5 profit per sale of a $20 program was acceptable. Maybe? I don't know. Anyways, ANTICX for anti-chaos. Well, that title screen went really fast. Okay. Oh, hang on. This is saying it's $25. The register form said 20 and this says 25. Make up your freaking mind. Okay, so we've got an about screen here, which actually, does this still have the same Nope, this doesn't have the same typo with color repeated twice. So that was only a thing in the file there. Okay, so play the game. Choose a pattern. I guess we'll do the tiny pattern to start. Grid number, I guess we'll go with grid number 1. Okay. So yeah, basically there's a kind of logic going on here, which I'm not completely following. So the left button changes color from red to blue, blue to green, or green to red. And then when we do that, the logic progresses in terms of how things change. Yeah, I get the life vibes. I don't get the Othello vibes. Okay, I think I'm making progress here. Well, actually, it's kind of hard to tell, but... So, I mean, one thing that's neat is that as I make changes, if I make the same change repeatedly, it kind of gives a sort of pattern going on. So, I mean, right now, you can see that we've got kind of like an X pattern here with the red ones and then blue on the sides here. If I click the middle enough times, the pattern will repeat, but now we're going to have red in the sides and green as the X pattern. So it seems as though it may be possible to create repeatable situations. I mean, here we are with blue as the X pattern and green there. I believe the goal was to make it so that everything ends up being just one color. Yeah, there it goes. Okay, so even though I don't quite understand the logic of how it's making the changes, it seems that persistence will eventually solve it. Like, that's actually kind of what ends up happening when anytime someone tries to take the game of life algorithm and turn it into an actual game, usually the end result is something where, even though it's difficult to predict what's going to happen, if you keep playing it and there's no limit on how many moves you can make, you are ultimately going to reach some kind of conclusion. But, I don't know. Well, let's try it with something that's a little bigger. Let's try this 5x5. And we'll say grid number 5. Oh. That's a bit different than I was expecting. I was expecting like a 5x5 square, but no. This is actually considerably different than that. With these kinds of pattern being generated, I kind of have some level of control over what happens here. My goal here is to just sort of get everything to green. But now I noticed that this is changing to red when it makes this jump. So I've got to somehow prevent that from happening. Not entirely certain how I'm going to do that. Yeah, this one's proving to be a little tricky. Because I keep getting it to this point where it's like near the middle here. But the thing is that everything I try in order to prevent it from propagating just seems to lead to more chaos. Although maybe I should just be going for a different color. All that did was completely inverse the situation I was in, because now it's blue that I can't get rid of. So yeah, that was Anti-C, or Anti-Chaos. It's kind of an interesting sort of puzzle thing. It's a bit more complicated than it seems. That's not necessarily a good thing. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just definitely a bit different. I do see where the author's coming from in terms of comparing it to the life algorithm. And it definitely gets harder with these later levels here. But yeah, I'm not really enjoying it too much. I'm more so just enjoying the fact that as I click things, the patterns are changing. Like, it's more interesting to me just in terms of watching the patterns change as opposed to actually trying to solve it. So yeah, I guess if you wanted a $20/$25 pattern generating program, well, there you go. And our last dig for today from Kobu Retro is DOSGAMES/cards/DP. Well, definitely not going to be deluxe paint in the cards folder. Oh, that doesn't look like it's much of anything. You got a dp.com as opposed to an executable, and a dp.doc. Let's edit dp.doc and see where we end up there. Draw Poker version 1.2. Operation of Draw Poker 1.2 is very straightforward, so I'm only going to write a quick operations manual. Draw Poker version 1.2 will only run on the IBM PC XT ATN compatibles with color graphics cards installed. Okay, so we know it's going to have color. Draw Poker simulates the Nevada video draw poker machines. One deck of cards is used and is shuffled and cut after each play. Unlike the Nevada machines, however, a statistics command is available to the player to allow tracking of the game. A progressive jackpot is incremented on each play and will be paid when the player bets 5 coins and receives a royal flush. So, virtually never. Helpful prompts are displayed at the top of the screen, informing user of the result of the hand played and current losses and wins. Statistics are continuously accumulated into a disk file created by the program, if it does not exist already, called dpoker.sta. Clear this file, delete it, and the program will create a new one. Make sure you have 80 bytes free on the disk or the program will not run. 80 bytes free. Wow. That's not a lot. 80 bytes is very tiny, so not having 80 bytes free would be kind of embarrassing. And it's saying here that a commercial version was available for $15. Now, I'm not sure. Like, I'm wondering if maybe you had to pay for it, like if this is wares or not, because I'm not seeing anything in here about registration. It's just saying that this is how much it costs. That's the other thing too, is there's no actual details on how to register. Like, I mean, there's this Royal Flush BBS thing, so maybe that was like the BBS line that this game was available from. I don't know, it's kind of weird. But in any case, DP. So, Draw Poker version 1.2 by David Sherville. I think I've got that name right. So, okay, this is the registration details here. Okay, that makes more sense. So yeah, $15 to register. And again, we're talking about a 1986 game. So the best graphics you could hope for by this point would be EGA graphics, and even that would be pushing it. So let's see where we're at here. So enter coin. Shouldn't it be showing me, like, how much stuff I have? Well, what's my statistics say? My statistics tell me nothing. So, like, where's my money? Like, that's the thing, is like, if you're asking for a bet, like, surely I've got, like, some kind of money being tracked, but I didn't see that anywhere. Anyways, put in 5 coins. So, we've got a Jack of Clubs, 2 of Hearts, 3 of Spades, King of Diamonds, and 8 of Hearts. So, we can select which cards we want to hold. Okay, and if we make a mistake on which cards we want to hold, we have to hit the C button to reset it. So I guess in this case, I'm going to hold the Jack and the King. So now there's a draw and a stand. What would be the difference? No, in either case, I got a pair there. So spent 5, won 5. Okay, so the statistics are basically saying how much we got, like percent payback and payout versus take. Okay, so it's basically, instead of tracking an ongoing bankroll, it's merely calculating how much we've paid versus how much we've won. Okay. Ooh, that's a lot of clubs there. Like, I mean, I think I would prefer to have 4 clubs showing before trying for a flush, but let's go for it anyways. Draw. It says 1-5 spent. Oh, it's that. Okay, so it is actually telling me how much I've spent versus won at the top there at all times. Well, between rounds anyways. I don't see a lot worth holding on to here. I guess I'll hold on to the ace and the jack and draw. That didn't go very well. But we already got a pair of 10s here. So now I know it's not worth anything unless we can get another pair or another 10. But still, we'll hold on to them, see if we can get 3 of a kind. Nope, we got 2 pairs instead. So 115. Or no, that's a total 1. Right. Okay, once again, we got 3 hearts showing here, so let's try for the straight. Or not the straight, the flush. Close. We got 1 more heart. So try again. Ooh. Okay, going for an inside straight is generally not a good idea, so I'm gonna hold on to the 7s instead. Now, if the 5 of heart gets replaced with an 8, I'm gonna be kind of mad. And it wasn't, so that's good. But another 2 pair there. Okay, we've already got 2 10s, so we'll hold on to those, and nope, still not getting anything. Spent twice as much as we've won back, so that's not good. Okay, we've got 2 jacks here, so that's guaranteed to get us something. And yeah, that's all we got was 1 pair. And then, oh, that's not a good draw either. I guess I'll hold on to the ace. Just hope for another ace. Nah, I should have held on to the king. Like, I mean, this seems to be working fairly well. It's very straightforward. It goes by really fast. Like, I mean, for a $15 draw poker game made in '86, this is actually not that bad. So yeah, all things considered, this would have been a fairly decent draw poker game for when it came out. The only trouble is, it's definitely aged. But, you know, at the same time, it's kind of neat that it has, like, the card graphics. I kind of understand why they wouldn't try to put anything in the middle of, like, the face cards there. But, oh well.